Hello, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to work on a page for the Maker's Color Combo Challenge for June, which is Ultramarine and Cheddar. And you might ask, what is Cheddar? So Dina Wakley has a color called Cheddar, and it's really kind of like almost like mustard. I mean, it's very dark. So it's not like this is too yellow, this is too orange. It's not really an orange. And I picked up this heavy-bodied acrylic paint on sale, and it's actually pretty close. It's pretty much bang on, but it's very thick, so I'm not sure if it's going to work very well on the cheddar on the cheddar plate, on the jelly plate. So I'm going to see if maybe combining it with the quinacridone nickel azo gold will help it work a little bit better. So I'll probably mix that off to the side on my smaller plate when the time comes. But first I'm going to work on the base, which is going to be the ultramarine part. And I'm going to use this stencil by Myriam from PM Artist Studios, but the designer is Myriam. And I think I'm going to use it to make a base, and then I'm going to make some pop-up orange butterflies, and that is going to be, that's also inspired by Myriam. She didn't design these butterflies. These are also from PM Artist Studios, but she's been doing some pop-ups lately, so you should check out her channel. She does lots of fun things. She's very knowledgeable. I'm going to use this as an ultramarine blue. This is called Brilliant Blue by Artist Loft. You can also use black, white, and metallics with the color challenge. The color challenge is hosted by the PM Artist Facebook group called Makers of Mixed Media, and the artists that come up with the color combos for the challenges are Carrie the Crafter, and you can find him on YouTube, and also Paula. I don't have a brayer. Let me grab a couple brayers here. This might look a bit green on here because I think my plate is a little bit yellow, so that's giving it sort of a green appearance. So I'm just going to lay that on and up some of those marks. So under the pattern will be the blue. So I'm going to layer a few of the colors on there just for some interest. It's kind of cool. I'm going to let that dry, and then we'll keep adding some layers. For the next layer, we're going to use Mars Black. When you use a stencil with little openings, you have to use quite a bit of paint, so I'm going to add some more paint. Let's roll this. I'm just going to use my smaller brayer to really go at different angles. Ooh, that's yummy. There's the first pull. That's kind of cool. Let's do another one. So there's the second one. So let that dry, and then we're going to add another layer. Okay, so that's pretty dry. I think this might look neat with it. It's the champagne gold. It's a little bit thick. Ah! Wow. Aggressive rolling. All right. That's kind of nice. Let's use we'll use this one. And I don't want it to line up, so I made sure it was turned a different way. Ooh, that's yummy. That looked like an abstract animal print. All right, we're gonna let that dry. It's dry. Let's put the blue on again. I don't want to take off too much, so I'm just gonna give it a light rub. There's that. And I'm gonna let that dry, and I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, I just can't help myself with the pan pastel. I'm gonna add a little bit of this pan pastel, which is very similar to Cheddar. It's actually called Dialoride Yellow. Dry, I think. So I'm just going to use a little bit of the pan pastel in the circles. That's the yellow, that's the Cheddar, closest to our Cheddar. So I'm just going to kind of not fill in the whole circle. We'll just kind of do like little half moon shapes. And the reason I'm keeping the stencil on is it just makes it a little bit easier to A, see where the circles are, and B, not go into the other areas. Let me use the tip of it. So I haven't decided what I'm going to pick this up with yet. I'm going to wait till I lift up the stencil and then make that decision. I do have an ultramarine blue. This is an ultramarine blue. See, a lot of the paint stuck because the stencil is a fairly new stencil. I think I want more. Let's put ultramarine blue in these little areas there. I think we'll do that. So these I'm going to fill in completely because I just want more ultramarine blue. Feels a little ultramarine blue light. I was hoping more of the paint would show underneath the stencil, but it didn't. So that's the thing with jelly plating, is it's about problem solving most of the time. I don't think it's good to have maybe a concept, but to just not veer from a plan, I think is missed opportunity. I feel like it's important to just kind of go with the flow. Like I've said before, the plate gives what the plate gives. So it's much easier to color these in with the stencil in place than lifting off the stencil. And because there's pan pastel in there, I'll probably wash that under some water. I see a few spots I missed there. How did I miss those? You guys didn't tell me that I missed those ones. See, it's a little harder to stay in the... Probably because my plate is so yellow from all the alcohol ink. Considering this metallic white for the pickup, just do it. I'm just going to use cardstock for the pickup. And as I've said in quite a few of my videos, the pan pastel is a dry medium, so you don't have to wait for it to dry because it's already dry. Here I can see that black there was maybe still a bit wet, so hopefully that will pick up. So this might be a bit more light than I was thinking. Okay, so let's let that dry. And I'm not super crazy about it. See, I like that. That looks cool. Maybe we do need to add more blue. Let's do a stamping method. I'm just going to clean off the pan pastel. So I want it to be the same, so I have to put it this way down. and get this ready. So I'm going to put quite a bit of this on so that we have a nice juicy layer. So kind of like join that together. And then we're going to lift this off and stamp it onto there. Hopefully it's still wet. I'm gonna have to wash the stencil because a lot of the openings are getting, you see that crusty paint in there. So that might look neat with some cheddar spray on it. We could try, and we could just use a baby wipe and try to just kind of wash the stencil. Gotta wash careful with these ridges because I don't want to wreck them. So I'm going in the direction of the ridges. I don't like wasting paint. Still a lot of crusting in the openings, so I'll probably end up soaking the stencil. I don't usually clean my stencils right away, but before I soak it, I might, I'm going to use that stencil again. All right, let's pull that. There we go. That's what I'm talking about. So if I were to use like a splooching technique, then I would get a lot more green than just using the paintbrush. So this is mixed media. Just because I'm using a jelly plate doesn't mean everything has to be done by jelly plate, right? Use whatever technique is gonna get you the result that you like. That's kind of what mixed media is all about. Don't limit yourself to thinking, oh, well, I wanted this to be a jelly print. You can add to jelly prints. They're not set in stone. How does that look? I'm tempted to add just like a little bit more depth to some of these bigger ones. Okay, that's good for now. I'll use my big plate to work on the butterfly. We'll make 3, and then we'll redo this one over here. Let's do that. All right, so let's put the black down first. Let's use some gold tissue. What's nice about using tissue, whether it's a regular wet strength, is that it really, you can press it into all the little creases, all the little spots there. Whereas if you use a thick paper, you can't quite get there. This is probably drying too much. I wanted to lay the other one down, so we'll see if we can get to it. That's a bit better. So I'll lay that one down there. We'll have some options. And I'm just holding it up here so that I don't get any other paint off of the other ones. Just put that one on here to get some of that paint off. So here you can see, like, when the paint was really wet, you get more of a smooshy butterfly. Here the paint was drying, so you do get a bit of a crisper outline. So that's an interesting experiment. So here's what I'm thinking. Maybe what we could do is put some ultramarine blue in the body and the edges of the wings. So again, that's the ultramarine blue. And I'm feeling we should do the antenna in blue as well. And I'm going to be cutting those down, so if I'm outside of the line a little bit, that's okay. I'm going to test this paint here and see if we need to add some quinacridone. It feels super, super thick. So I'm going to add a bit to this right away because it feels very thick. And we'll mix it on here. Does that look like cheddar? Maybe a bit darker than cheddar. Let's add a little bit more of this. I think I got a bit too much of the quinacridone azo gold. Okay, let's do that. That looks cheddary and it looks very thick. And you know what? I've already got the paint mixed, so I'm just gonna go for it. And let that dry. I didn't have enough, so we'll add another layer to that. I'll paint a little bit of the nickel azo gold in there and then pick it up with the cheddar. This little paintbrush. See if we can get some interesting cells going on. I'll hold this up in a second. You can see what I mean by the cells. Patricia uses, I think I mentioned in a previous video, Patricia from PM Artist Studios. She does use fluid acrylics pretty regularly in her jelly prints. This takes a little bit more time, but it's fun. That's a bit too much there. You don't always have to be in a hurry. And yeah, I think it's good to embrace accidents. Like, you know, this was drying, so I just stopped and it gave me the opportunity to think of another way to approach it. And it looks like I got just the right amount of paint. So I'll bring this up in a second and you'll see what I mean by the cells. The creasing. See how that breaks up? So we'll have a bit of variation in our cheddar color. So the ultramarine blue doesn't look terribly blue. It looks more black. But I do like how the cheddar looks there. So once we cut those out, that might be quite striking. So that's actually pretty dry. Just add a little bit. Just for the consistency, maybe a little bit of this yellow. I'm not sure if this is still wet enough, but we'll see if we can get that to pull. Okay, I'm going to cut those out. I slept on this overnight and I cut down my print and I just inked the edges with black and I put it down on my journal because I do want to make a pop-up. I decided that these are too big to put 3 on here. I thought about just putting 1, but I liked how this one, these two showed the blue better than the others. The others look more black. So in the end, I think I decided that my favorite one is this one here, the smaller one, just because it has a lot more of the blue showing. I toyed with the idea of stacking them like that, like popping that up there and then having this whole thing pop up. I'm not sure. I'm on the fence about that. So I'm going to ink the edges of this while I'm chatting. Myriam showed different ways of doing pop-ups, and I liked all the ways she showed, but I think for this one, I'm going to use a spring thing. You can buy them. I think they're called wobbles or something, but I don't really have time to order them, and the ones I found weren't very inexpensive, I guess. So I did find a YouTube channel that talked about how to make your own sort of wobble springs. So I'll link that below. And it's not to say that Myriam might not show that type, because she's still in the process of doing her series. So the lady I saw, what she did was and I don't know if this is going to be thick enough, but she wrapped some wire around a pencil. I want a bit bigger, I think. Let's try that. And she left a tail, like 2 tails. So I'm not sure if this wire is going to be sturdy enough to give the effect that I want. But basically you want like a little spring so that when you open the page, this pops up and will wobble a bit. And what she did is she just used tape to adhere it to pieces of cardstock that she then glued down. Here's some cardstock. I'm just going to cut a strip. And what she did was she folded her paper and she used tape. Let me grab some tape. Just plain old Scotch tape, and she just taped down the little tab part like that. And then to adhere it to the top, oh, that's too big. She just folded the paper over. Now, if this doesn't work long term, I could go ahead and order one of those wobbles. Like that. And then she just cut it here so that you have 2 pieces. So you have the spring attaching these 2 pieces, and then you can cut down your paper. I'm going to try to make one of them a little bit neater so that if it shows under the butterfly, it won't be too distracting. There we go. And then you just glue that down and you glue that on there. I'll also put a link to Colleen CK Art. I remember she did a wobble. I think she used like a Tim Holtz guy, like a stamp, and did him on wobbles. I'll look for that stream and I'll link it below if you want to see what the actual wobbles. All right, so I'm going to put that there. And I'll take this off. And then we'll glue that. So I like how it looks like maybe this is how the butterfly flew, and that this is like the stream current coming off of his little wings. So I don't want to put it in the middle. I'm going to put it just kind of there. So we're like a third and a third. Oh, that's cute. Look at him. I hope that lasts. That's really fun. So when you have your book closed, and then when you open, he pops up. When you close, it closes all the way. And when you open, he pops up and he wobbles. Whee! All right, so that's good. I like that. We'll see how long it lasts. If it doesn't last very long, then maybe I'll splurge and buy some actual wobbles. So that's our finished page for Ultramarine and Cheddar. And I'm going to show you all the off prints we got. And that'll be fun in a collage. I thought this would be fun with one of these butterflies like laid over top of it, just on maybe an index card or a journal. And then that one's kind of cool. It's the pattern twice. And then this is kind of cool how I just put it on one long piece. So my question for you is, when I fussy cut out the butterflies, I kept the negative space. I cut it here, but then I thought, oh, I should just cut it directly so that I can use it as a piece. So do you like it better over this black background? Or do you like it over this piece here? What I did is I had the extra stencil bits, like paint from that when I washed it off, I think, and then I just sprayed it with some, I sprayed the jelly plate with some gloss spray, the Cheddar gloss spray, and then I stuck my page down to pick it up. And I think I did one more pickup with the stencil. If I have the footage of that, I'll link it up there. I won't link it, I mean, I'll put a little mini video up in the corner. So that's kind of fun. I kind of like that. I think that's my favorite. But then the other option is on this blue, just on the ultramarine blue, and there's just a little hint of cheddar coming through if I do that. So let me know which one's your favorite for the three butterflies, the dark blue, the pattern, or the plain black. I do have this other piece that I'm gonna cut down, and should I put that on the blue like that, or should I put it over pattern like that, or should I just put that one over black as well? So anyways, those are my questions. Let me know. And this was similar, just cleaning off the stencil. And then you also have these leftover butterflies on gold tissue that you could tear out and use in a collage. So I hope you enjoyed that. I had fun with this ultramarine cheddar combo. And now we know where cheddar comes from. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.